quick note here before we begin this episode of What Am I Rolling? This episode's one-shot, Die, Total Party Kill, does contain mature content and some sensitive topics may come up. Content warnings for this particular scenario include and are not limited to murder, torture, teenage drama, violence, alcohol and substance abuse, emotional manipulation, and terrible GM practices. If you're not in a good headspace just now, feel free to stop listening and come back if or when you're ready. Thanks again, and stay safe, my friends. Hello, and welcome to What Am I Rolling? A twice-monthly RPG one-shot podcast, hosted by me, Fiona. This is part 4 of our Die one-shot, so make sure you listen to the first 3 parts before continuing on with this episode. To briefly recap, Evelyn, Celena, James, Matthew, Matt and I make up a social group who, when they were younger, played a role-playing game together. My persona, Vicky, was the GM and ran the game until an awful session happened where she threw the entire party into a killer dungeon, the Blade Glades of the Everchild. Now, years down the line, everyone is back in town, and Vicky suggested a game for old time's sake. With mutual recrimination both in and out of the game, everyone is surprised that Vicky asked. They are perhaps even more surprised that everyone else said yes. Celena is playing Anastasia, Vicky's ex-best friend. Matthew is playing Mike, Vicky's older brother who she loved. James is playing Alex, jealous bully who made up rumours behind Vicky's back during school. Matt is playing Mason, the hang-along friend of Mike who just wanted to have friends but never really quite fit in with the group. And Evelyn is playing Philippa, now Fontina, Vicky's friend who was less well off than the rest of them, and for whom she pitied. In Die, Total Party Kill, the paragons are already pre-assigned. Each paragon comes with an associated die, a d4, a d6, a d8, a d10, a d12, and a d20. These dice help activate certain abilities and help make each paragon feel unique and special. Alex's paragon is the Dictator, an artistic diplomat who manipulates emotions with horrific magical words. Their associated die is the d4. Fontina's paragon is the Fool, a swashbuckler who rushes into danger and relies on their supernatural luck to survive. Their associated die is the d6. Mason's paragon is the Emotion Knight, a warrior who feeds one sacred emotion into their arcane sentient weapons to devastating effect. Their associated die is the d8. Mike's paragon is the Neo, a techno-magical rogue who steals the elusive fair gold to power their cybernetic gifts. Their associated die is the d10. Anastasia's paragon is the Godbinder, a cleric who prefers to make deals with their gods to get miracles. Their die is a d12. And Vicky's paragon is the Master, a magic user who is also a reality manipulator. Their associated die is, of course, the d20. When the game enters the fantasy world and the paragons take over, the following rules are used to determine what happens when any paragon tries to do something. Firstly, they must collect a number of d6s equal to whichever one of their 6 stats is most relevant to the task at hand. Strength, dexterity, constitution, wisdom, intelligence, or charisma. Any advantages or disadvantages on the roll would then be accounted for by adding or removing a d6 respectively. Then the paragon must roll their pool. Each die showing a 4 or higher is a success. If the GM has set a difficulty for the task, the player must remove that number of successes, and if any of the successes remain, the action succeeds. Another thing is that if any of the remaining dice is a 6, they can also be used to activate any relevant special ability. Also, the paragons can use their associated dice in activating certain special abilities. There's also some other things around combat and talking about guard and wounds, etc. I'm not going to go into that too much here, as I think those are quite easily explained in the core rulebook itself. Now that persona creation is over, I have asked the players to step away from the table before moving on to the next stage. As the game breaks up quite nicely into distinct sections, I'll go into each section before each part of the one-shot. One last thing before we begin. Naturally, there are times in this one-shot where the players and myself, mostly myself, get the rules wrong or forget something plot-wise. Whilst we always endeavour to stick to the rules wherever possible, at the end of the day, we all make mistakes, and what matters most is that everyone enjoys themselves. This was an in-person recording of the RPG, and as a result, the audio quality does reflect that at times. I know there's a little bit of crosstalk, a little bit of confusion at times, but just imagine that you're listening to some found audio recordings, you know, like lost footage films. You'll see what I mean. I really hope you folks enjoy it. So, with all that out of the way, let's play Die. You see yourself in that. You see you sat round, whether surrounded by people with children, with pets, books. You are cared for because it's not about the money or the adulation, the likes. It's about your own self-worth and self-love that you have for yourself. Mm-hmm. And there is a moment, maybe you almost reach out for it, and you just say, "No, you're not supposed to see that!" And you get dragged out of that room, and the door shuts. Oof. You all saw Fontina go in, and a second later she was pulled out by some sort of force. Are you okay?
Fontina wipes her eyes a little bit, and she's just like, absolutely, yeah. That's really strange, and that I thought it was like a chat room, and it's just not. It's
What did you see?
I saw some. Well, you know, we all had little sort of screens, and there were plaques with our names on them. And I went to Vicky's first because I thought, you know, maybe it was CCTV and we could see what she was up to. It was like actually more of like a vision of her sort of fantasy, and we were all sort of around this banquet table with her. It was a bit sad, really. I think she wants to be friends with us again, but like here.
She's got a funny way of showing it.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
There is another shudder as the earthquake goes through. This time the corridor is cracking and breaking apart. And you hear Vicky's voice saying, 1 hour until the universe and reality collapses.
We've walked a long way. We need to keep going. We need to keep going.
Yes.
Try not to go off into mystery rooms, I guess, on your own.
I can try, but I think we learned quite a lot from that, so...
Did you see screens?
Oh, yeah, I think they were screens. They're like sort of vision-y, crystal-y things.
What are you thinking, Mike?
Well, can I, is the AI here still?
Yep.
Yes.
Sorry, I
so-
was powered off briefly.
No worries. Does this world that we're in have sort of like technology and screens and...
Of course.
Yes.
As a design of Vicky's creation.
Can I hack them?
You can certainly try.
Can I try and open the door?
Can you make for me a strength check? -1 from your pool because it is welded shut by some magical plot force.
That's just one. 4.
4. It's a success. That's all you needed. It pulls... It opens. No, it's not time yet!
Who says that, or is it just...
It comes into all of your heads. It sounds like Vicky.
Okay.
Do I go in?
Yeah. To finish this, whatever this is, she wants us to go in a certain direction. To beat it, maybe we need to do what she doesn't want to do. She sounded exasperated then. Let's go look in this room.
Okay.
So it was interesting. We might learn more.
Yeah, probably. I don't think I want to go back in there.
Fine.
I'll go back in. I want to see what's in there.
Yeah.
Can I call on Farron?
Darling.
Farron, I I'm so concerned the time is passing.
Yes.
Can you pause time whilst my friends investigate this place?
Could do that. That doesn't sound fun though.
But it would, you'd be stopping. Oh, I don't know how to phrase this.
How about I could speed up? I could get you to the end. That's what I am. I'm a goddess of ends.
I can't. Oh.
It will be quite a high price.
That I can't.
You can
speak. I can't speak for the group. I can't do that myself.
No. This deal's just between you and me, darling.
You can't get me to the end without everyone else.
Oh no, I'm sure.
Oh.
You like them so much, I'll throw them in as a freebie.
Oh, I don't like this.
Tell you that. I'll do it as a favour, and I'll just call on you sometime. Forget about the previous thing.
I wanted to ask you, why did you want to silence Flux? What are they doing that you don't like?
That's what they're not doing.
What are they not doing that you don't like?
I don't want to give the cake away. You're so smart, precious.
This is why
My
I do not
lovely
believe
precious.
in gods. Everything's up to faith, isn't it?
Do you want this help or not? Time is ticking away.
Yes. I'll take
Favourite point.
owing them an open-ended favour.
Yes.
Costs.
It does. I'm going to look up the cost very quickly.
It was the interesting choice.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Let's get weird.
Yeah.
I punch me. Take that.
Yeah, it's just, well, it's an open-ended favour, so at any point she can call on you to do it. We have a bargain then.
I suppose we do.
Alright.
Thank you, Varian.
And she seals it with a kiss. Mike, we'll come to you very quickly, and then, yes, so you're trying to hack
Yes.
things,
So
yes.
can I go in and have a look to see if I can find like an access point or any sort
easily
of
enough, yeah.
yeah, and then I'm sort of imagining like tendrils sort of come out of my fingertips, sort of like as like something that plugs in. Yes.
To do that, you spend some fair gold for me. What have you got left? Just to do a sort of hacking.
How many do I need to spend?
I think just one for this. So, yeah, it's an easy enough thing. And then, what are you planning to do?
I'm just wanting to see if I can change what these computer screens are showing.
Ooh, change them to what?
Just to see what else is available.
Changing the channel, so to
Yeah,
speak.
basically.
MTV. Everything is MTV.
Cool.
Can we get the BBC?
World service.
Get CFAX.
Do for me an intelligence roll, please.
That's free.
Yeah.
4, 5, 3.
So 2 successes, yeah. What happens is that the way you sort of put it in, and you all see these images shift, and you all see parts of the visions of what it would mean to be here. Mason, probably you see yourself being cheered as a hero, people actually wanting to speak to you and talk to you, where you are. Alex, similar, I guess. You are you are doing your type 5 or something. You are you're laughing at your jokes and you're cutting remarks and what a person, what a great person. And as they move into one, it's almost as if the screens melt into you, almost like liquid. It opens up. You know what it is like. It's the dungeon where you all died. Describe it for me.
The it's a dark and empty, almost chasm, with just almost like rock on the sort of sides, with sort of very minimal amounts of sort of light coming through it.
Exactly. And each of you see this. The only difference is that there are 2 additions on each side. Inception all over. And at this point, like you just stepped through, it's now a doorway into this room. It is, as you described, this nightmarish. This fills you with dread. All of you get that sort of heart-sinking moment of this is where you died last time. But with 2 different additions. there are two sort of open doorways on either side. Light is shining through. And you see, Vicky. She's desperately trying to pull her way through one of the doors, but something is... No, you're so close. And then you see she turns back, and the Hydra creature, Alex, he so goes, no, fuck off. I said, fuck off. She would spend a cheat token and just go, you fucking asshole. You destroyed me and I'm going to destroy you. And burns the Hydra from the inside out. Like gets her hand and just sort of does this whole Kalimar, Indiana Jones style. And this Hydra, this horrible creature, screams in agony, and you feel it, Alex. No! And she's tearing up, she's trying to tear her way through this doorway, but is being prevented by some force and things.
And how far this is within shouting range? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I would say you've all. Just for ease, you've all moved into this dungeon space and seeing what Micah sort of opened the doorway to. And weirdly, Anastasia, you feel like as you gain back a little bit of time, you say, it's a little bit of time. Thought it might make it interesting. Ta-ta.
I'll take this.
Don't die. And the doorway behind you shuts.
Again, the eye rolls. The god of death is telling me not to die. Fine.
Yeah, but what do you folks do?
I think if I feel the searing pain well up, despite it being an objectively stupid thing to do to attract Vicky's attention, I'm going to call out just almost defensively. Are you having trouble there, Vicky dear?
Fuck you.
You never were very good at knowing when to quit, were you?
All we had to do was play the game, and you ruined it.
All you had to do was not kill us all, and we would still be around your table.
You didn't listen to me. None of you listened to me, and now you all left me.
We're here now. What do you want from us, Vicky?
Come on, Vicky. You were always the clear-headed one.
Mason is walking towards her. Callahan is walking towards her.
Oh, that's rich coming from you.
What do you mean?
You know exactly what I mean.
Look, Vicky. How...
You're too logical. You are just a robot. You don't even care. You only come and see me. I'm the reason we won that debate. You just simply supported my argument. You're just a yes woman.
Vicky!
Is that not what you said?
Look, you're talented. I mean, you brought us here, haven't you? That was however many years ago. You can't think I still hang on to those words after you murdered us.
You just didn't even play it right. I made all these wonderful puzzles. I spent hours and hours, and what do? You just all turn up half drunk, not caring, laughing away. Oh, you, points to Fontina. That's what you did.
May as well say it.
I let you be part of this. What do? You steal from me.
Vix, look. And I go into my bag and sort of bring out. Look what I have.
Oh, wow. A symbolic thing that she stole from me, pointed to Fontina.
You can have it back, though.
What's that going to do? The reality around you is cracking. That's fine.
It was Grandma's, though. Don't you want it?
Her stories were the best.
Yeah.
She was the only one that actually listened.
Do you remember when we used to sit around the fireplace?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun. I miss her.
I'm sorry she cut you out of the will.
Yeah, but I deserved that. It's alright. Please, can we just stop this madness and go home?
Can't go home, there's nothing left for me.
You have me.
No, I don't.
Look, I know I've not been here, but I promise I'm trying to do better.
My life ended when you all left me. I was stuck This was my getaway. This is the only way I could get out and be somebody. I felt something with all of you, even you, Alex. Fuck off. You think you're so fucking cool with your aloofness, but I saw. The reason I invited you, Alex, to these games, why I invited all of you, is because you're good people down inside. And maybe this story, this thing we weave together, it gives us some respite from whatever is outside here. And that's all I ever wanted. I wanted to be in control. And here I can be. Mike, I'm nothing outside. There is nothing for me. I am so unhappy. Greg left me and took the kids.
I don't know.
I'm in so much debt. I gambled it all away to feel something, anything, any control.
I'm so sorry, Vicky.
No.
Vicky, do you think we don't all feel like that? Do you think my Instagram life is perfect? Because it's not. There's a reason that we all came here today. You know, I might have fixed my teeth, I might have got my hair done, I might speak with a particularly posh accent when I want people to respect me. But deep down, I'm still that girl, that nerdy girl that wanted to be friends with you and was jealous of you, jealous of the things that you had. You were bigger than me. I wanted to be you, I idolised you because you had more than me. You all had more than me, or at least that was how I felt. But we're all broken, that's why we're all sat round here, isn't it? We all came back after 15 years. We shouldn't have come, should we, really, if there was nothing left to fix? But if we go and we stay here, it's not real.
Do you expect to fix us, Vicky? Is that why you brought us here? Are we here to be fixed as well? Are we something that's not right in your life? Something that didn't sit right, something that you want to remake. Is that why you're putting us through all this again?
I thought I'd give you a chance.
A chance to do what?
Be your best version of yourselves. It's not fixing. There's nothing to fix. When we played this game, you played the person you wanted to be. That's different. You can be that here. I can be that here. What's Mason doing? Because you're walking towards her.
Mason has noted that he's been ignored during his...
So.
How high is my rate allowed to go?
Alec, how are you feeling currently?
After everything.
Yeah.
He's now this like, I think physically he's taller, he's broader, he's muscular, he's literally glowing and walking towards this person who he perceives is the cause of his angst. He came back to this place to maybe strike a friendship in you and just feel betrayed again. Mm-hmm. Shriek flickers quite aggressively into life as he feels Vicky's gaze just like almost like it's like two positive magnet poles like around him. Yeah. And he says, and his voice is now, how high is my emotional scale? Can I
realised you finished and then I decided.
Okay, cool. His you know that kind of dual tone of two voices overlaying each other.
Oh, yeah.
He says, Vicky, will this place stay without you?
I forgot you were here.
I'm going to use a decapitation strike and attack you with attack which will ignore guard.
So your level, I think you're level 4.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so that meets my willpower, which means I'm overwhelmed by my rage.
Yes, you are. Yeah,
radical.
Yeah. So what do we have to do? Go on. Read it out for us because we might not know.
So decapitate. So this isn't my creative violence. This is a sort of standard attack. I target and attack a single individual, and I ignore any guard that they have.
Oh dear. Yes. Go for it. Yeah. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I want to come to the defence of my sister.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do something really weird.
Love it.
But I don't think I have the gold to do anything. Actually, depends.
I'll bring you gold.
Do I get? Do I get gold? So you know the 5 at the start.
Yes.
Was that 5 quarters of gold?
That was 5 fair gold, yes.
So I only put down 4 at the start.
Okay, yeah.
Which means, can you give me the extra?
Yeah, of course.
And then that might mean I can do what I want to do.
Yeah.
It depends, because there is
errors.
There is sort of you can I turn my dog into I don't know how I'm imagining this, but like I'm imagining it out of like sort of metal plate. I'm wanting it to basically turn into like a prison sort of thing.
Ooh,
like
so
an Iron
like,
Maiden type.
Like sort of like a sort of thing.
Okay. Yes, so you've
A
got one.
wood-touch
I would say
sort of
this is
thing.
overcharging it.
Yeah.
But you've only got 1 gold.
I've got 3. I've got 3 in
Sorry,
total.
you've got 3. Yes.
I had 2, and I was thinking it might be 3.
Yes. Right. Yes. Okay. So you want to spend that all 3 gold on doing that? Because it would require like to do that to change what its purpose is. You'd have to
I'd be changing its purpose into sort of like.
Exactly. So you can do that.
I'm going to do that.
We'll do that first, and then we'll roll your attacks. It's still going to go off.
Right.
So let's do that. So that is a intelligence plus your the D10 for the.
Okay. And can I check? So Vicky is in the room.
Yeah, Vicky's
No,
next
yes.
to you, next to the doorway. Yeah. Oh, it's in the doorway.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good.
5, 4, 5.
5, 4, 5.
Plus what was it? Plus my. Do I need to roll my other one?
Your D10, because I think your D10 does the overcharge.
Oh, my D10 is how effective it is, doesn't it?
It's was it odds? It works.
Odds it works.
Odds it works.
It works, but it's something. It was a mishap. Essentially.
Yeah.
So you successfully do it. It's
Okay.
like this. Those dogs are.
Sort of like you know how like the Power Rangers like morphing suits sort of like turn from like the little lines and combine into something. I'm imagining like extra bits of my arm like fly off and it like forms.
Oh, beautiful! Yes, love that.
But yeah, okay.
I really hope your suit of armour has a Brooklyn accent.
2.
2 is even, so it's a mishap. Okay.
I've only ever rolled 2s of that. I'm blaming the die.
So we'll come to that.
That's the name of the game.
So let's roll for this decapitation.
Cool. Also, apparently if I roll any specials, don't get a roll special by the 8. It's anything above a 6.
Yes, I think. Yes, I think. Yes, we'll say yes.
Sweet. But if I get a special, it causes 2 wounds instead of 1, which is fun. So that's a special.
Yeah. So 2. Yeah. So what? So sorry. Describe it again. So there's a lot of things happening. So your decapitation out. You give me.
So I target and attack a single individual, and I ignore guard.
Yeah. All right. So.
There's a chance you might have killed me. Because it depends. Have we gotten rid of the? Because we're completely changing its function. Does that include the function of when that prison now gets wounded?
It's up to you.
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah. Helping you out there, my friend.
Yeah. There we go.
So what happens is because you're trying to get it ready.
Yeah.
It sort of says like. Master, defense mode, engaged. And it goes up, but it is too slow to get, it gets like half of her face as the sound wave comes.
Right.
What do you do? Describe it.
Callahan is visibly kind of shuddering with the vibrational energy now. You can see he's like got a trickle of blood coming from his ear, from his nose. His teeth are gritted, and he's just forming this like it's just a shuddering of a ball of energy in the air between his hands. So much so it's almost starting to illuminate itself a little bit, and he walks. He's still just walking. He's slightly above the ground, and his hands around her neck, and he just pushes this vibrating energy
into this shield.
Yeah, into this shield. Just trying to, like, if you can't get to her neck, squeeze this metal around her. Mike, the bitch needs to die.
At this point, I'm going to rush over to him. She's my sister. You will not harm her.
I can only hear sort of shrieks, tinnitus.
Okay.
you want to test that theory?
Yes.
Yes! Watching this kind of this maelstrom of chaos going around from Alex Flux has not really moved from where they were stood.
Yeah.
I don't want Vicky to die yet, and I don't want Callahan to get angry, and this is very unsatisfactory. So I'm going to call out in a voice which is quiet but carries, and I'm just going to say, Callahan, you know Vicky always bullied you. She's just explained she's insecure. Why can't you just accept that?
Cool.
Roll it. Charisma with a D4.
Okay.
Nice try to defend against this door.
We'll see how successful it is.
I'm going to take that as enthusiastic consent to use the voice on.
Oh, 100%. That is radical.
And my D4 as well, isn't it? Oh, that's my 4 as well.
The D4 essentially is the success.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, get rid of those keys.
Yeah. Well, that was almost disastrous. That's 2 1s and a 4, and 4 on my D4. So 1 success.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I know.
Whoa.
I saw the 2 1s first and freaked out.
So just so people know, so critical failure is when you don't roll any successes but roll at least 1. If the dictator critically fails, you're unable to remove the emotional state.
Okay.
So
Just turn into a hippie.
Yeah, great. So you wouldn't be able to vent any of your emotion. What's the total number of successes? So you've rolled a 4 on the D4.
I have, and sorry, please remind me. So my options are to increase the intensity of the emotion that's felt.
Increase
with
or
it.
decrease by 1 because you've got 1 of the success. So
Okay.
it's on a 4. You can go down to a 3 or to a 5.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So sorry, I'm
That's okay.
getting it the wrong way around. There we go.
It's fine.
Can I just say, if you get to a 5, I can defeat a country or a religion. So I think we all want to see that.
Smash cut to you're Vicky's new debating partner. You defeat a country through the power of thought. We all live happily ever after. Yeah, terms accepted. So sorry, are you saying you want me to? I mean, I'm trying to get you to just accept that your position. So
So if you get me to 3, in fairness, I guess I will no longer be completely overwhelmed by my rage. After 4, I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll give it to you. Would you prefer that this acceptance of your lot in life and Vicky's state of mind is intense as most people will ever feel that, or would you prefer that it is an all-consuming obsession that you feel it in that way? I don't know which one narratively feels.
I guess in the snapshot of the emotional constellation that is Callahan at the moment, I feel like anything that's not consuming obsession would be kind of drowned out.
That makes sense. So rather than give you this new emotion, I'm just kind of tilting your dial to feel that strongly about something else. Yeah, let's go all-consuming obsession, and the emotion is acceptance.
Yeah. So pass the D4 to Callahan, so you have that currently.
So I guess I hear, because all I can just hear, and it's like standing next to the bass speaker in a club. But this calm, quiet voice just says what Alex just said, what Flux just said, and I'm confused, and I don't know where now to. Because it was simple. It was just rage. It was just unidirectional. I knew what I needed to do, and now there's this splitting of these paths. And I just go shriek. What? Help!
I can't. We can go against it if we want. It will hurt. So you can roll for me just checking here. A willpower check, or your willpower.
My willpower is 4.
Yes, I'm just checking this quickly. Your willpower is 4, but you rolled You went for a 5. Also, it did go over it, so you can't. It overwhelms you. You go past it essentially. Willpower is full.
No, sorry, I can. Can I do roll it?
No, you're wrong.
Okay, cool.
So it's a static.
Okay.
Thing, basically. Yeah.
Cool. I think that's the noise. It's actually really good. I think there is sense. There is like I think Mason's still just actually quite a little timid guy who just likes watching anime. And I freeze. I want to have done some damage to Vicky, but I don't want to obliterate her. If that's the choices that I have.
So what happens? Like the damage is done, but as you sort of like you step back and that feeling of regret. You just know. You fucking idiots. She spends a cheat token to undo the effect. This is the great thing about being the master. I can cheat. Cheat tokens. So your thing happens, and you just feel a tap to your side, and you look around like, and Vicky's just there, like, I'm gonna put myself in fucking danger. I don't need your help.
I'm your big brother. I'm here to protect you. That's my job.
No, it was never your day. You're too busy thinking about yourself.
Try and change.
Oh, I was a singer-songwriter. Oh, Ed Sheeran picked one of my songs. Well,
I'm trying to make a difference, though.
oh, I don't get to go to Lane Norton because Ed Sheeran didn't remember me.
Yeah, but I was on Jimmy Fallon.
You always bring up that one time in the US.
I know, it was my US World Tour.
Yeah, but that was ages ago.
Why did you call it that, Mike? Why did you call it your US World Tour?
Did I?
I know they have like the national series and all there. Sorry, not the Time Lords.
It's World Series!
Yes, Mason still stuck around. Just to check in with time of the table, I need you to like to do anything. Just checking, because
Way too caught up. Sorry.
No.
Just watching that play out.
Please feel free. There's no need to, but I just wanted to make sure that you had a session.
No, I assume the doorway that she was at was the State Theatre doorway.
It would.
I can't remember what we called them, but
so. From context.
From context.
Yes.
From context. Do I get the sense that before any kind of vote or anything, we need to subdue, defeat her?
There's a little whisper in your ear.
I thought it might come to you. Hello, Farron.
Are you?
Off of, God of Endings.
Yes. What an interesting ending we have.
Yes.
If you want to get out of here, all of you need to agree. But there's one rule she's left out. The dead can't vote.
And all of us includes Vicky.
Well, she's not dead yet.
Goddess.
Just a thought.
Thank you, Farron.
I mean, look at her. She's arguing with her brother at the moment. Distracted. I can make this happen.
That wouldn't be fair. We always try to fight fair.
Ugh. Death isn't fair, Anastasia. It comes, it's quick, it's brutal. Innocent people go. People that had whole lives to fulfill all potentials. This person trapped you here.
This can't be happening.
It is, darling.
I will, if it's possible, let Farron fade away.
You can walk away from me.
Walk away from Farron, Underworld Goddess, and we'll
Do it.
throw out a shadow blast towards Vicky.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look like that beast, that clawing beast, or more feline, more kind of gentle, but it will still try and overpower her.
Alright, roll for it, please. D12, yep.
Use one of my lovely D12s that I never get to use. Yay! 2 successes and a 5 on the D12.
Yeah, that's fine.
It just attacks a target within.
Yeah, it does what it says. Yep.
So is that 2?
It's 2.
Whatever that takes off from you, having got 2 successes.
Because before you did the damage without going for the guard, she still has a guard.
Yes.
So you take your horrible blast thing or whatever. It sort of comes and it tears. She sees it coming as she's talking to Mike and tries to step around it. It engulfs her. She goes, "What the fuck do you think you're doing?"
You know this isn't real. We have to get out of this.
Oh.
Vicky.
No. And
You're in her way.
I'm in your way. You're in your own way. You've always been in your own way.
What is Team doing?
So,
Meanwhile.
Fontina's having. She's having a rare. She's having a rare moment. She's just watching all of this unfold, and like the scene's just going blurry in front of her because her eyes are just filling with tears, and she doesn't want to go back to a reality if it means having to kill Vicky. So she takes out her pistol and she fires it in the air and waits for people to pay some attention. Vicky, I know that we all wronged you in our own various ways. I think we also wronged ourselves. And none of us are winners back in the world that we've come from. But I also don't think that we belong here pretending. We have a chance to go back and be different. And I am so, so sorry that it took you being this hurt to make us realise that. But I am begging you, and she walks towards her, and she puts her rapier down in front of her, she puts her pistol down in front of her, and she kneels down. And she says, "I don't want to fight anymore." And that's it.
At any point in the final encounter, any player can call for a vote. Each player is asked if they want to end the game, and the second that one doesn't, play stops. If everyone agrees to go home, they go home. If everyone agrees to stay, they stay. The important rule here is that the dead don't get a vote. If the players can't come to an agreement, the fantasy world around them is destroyed.
I'm going to call a vote. So, we're going to go around, starting on this side. And you either say, "I vote to go home," or "I vote to stay." And we continue until there's a changing vote. So, Mason.
Stay.
Stay. Mike.
Stay.
Alex.
Stay.
Anastasia.
To go home.
The reality starts to collapse around you.
If there is a stalemate, the GM gives each persona a chance to define their final moment before reality collapses around them, and then asks each persona, "How has your absence impacted on the real world?" After that, the GM performs the closing ritual, gathers the dice back, and thanks the players for their time.
You all have a final chance to define what happens before reality around you collapses. Let's start on this side with Fontina.
To be honest, I don't, I don't know what I'm doing. Can we do someone else?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. We'll come back to you then, if that's
Yeah.
alright. Anastasia.
When you say define what we're doing, is that...
As reality is breaking around you. So you voted to go home. As everyone else voted to stay. That means there's a change.
Yeah.
Nobody goes home. Reality is there's a stalemate, essentially.
I think that she would... I think that she would run to Vicky. And I think she would try to look her in the eyes and hug her and say, we could have tried to sort this at home. We could have been home together.
Alex.
Alex is just stood where he is, trying to work out if one particular vote was influenced by the voice or not, and then just his mind is wandering. Thinks back to the screen that saw when Mike. Are you still Mike in this? It's a bit late to be asking if you're still Mike in this universe, but we've obviously nobody's corrected us. So
the Y.
And Drop has an umlaut on the O.
Fancy Mike.
Don't drink when we're riffing. Don't drink mid-riff.
Like 3.5 hours into this.
That's rifting.
So thinking back to the screens and just the image of them all Flux was there, and it was Flux. It wasn't Alex that was there. It was the tall, the more confident character that people listened to.
Yeah.
Vicky was there. Everyone was there. Everyone was laughing along. Everyone was having a great time. He thinks back to, it's Saturday, Sunday tomorrow, Monday. Reality collapsing, better than that. Flux is just gonna grin and just smile and watch it all come down.
Mike.
So I think I'm going to be sort of near Vicky, just going I will go with whatever you think is right. I just want to mend our relationship.
Mason.
Can I use creative violence?
Sure, what are you doing?
So, I'm lost in my rage. But it's not rage anymore, because it's this slightly twisted...
Yes, it's just a version of it.
Narratively, does it help you if I lift the compulsion?
No. That's helpful.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
I think that's making this what
Excellent.
I want to do.
Yeah.
Because one thing I can defeat is despair. And with this crack, this strike through my rage, I realise I haven't got long to do something. I've probably done something very wrong. These people around me are probably the people who actually I was the closest to. Maybe I didn't see it, maybe I saw it wrong, maybe I had close friends, maybe I ruined it. And I'm going to expend Shriek to let out a pulse of it's quite violent and aggressive, but this is this searing vortex of sonic energy. Doesn't affect people physically when it hits them, but I'm trying to defeat their despair.
It washes over her. She felt pretty serene when she knelt in front of Vicky, because she saw that screen and she knows that either way she wouldn't be happy. So watch it burn.
Reality collapses all around you. There's a sort of a moment where, in the comic book style, would cut to a black cell, and it just says in a sort of speech thing, identified as sort of Vicky's last words of, "I'm sorry." I'm so sorry. My final bit, players, before we end this game. I'm going to ask a final question. I'm going to go back round the table clockwise, starting with you, Mason. How has your absence impacted on the real world?
I think there is I think the outcry of emotion in the school would have maybe made Mason realise what he had, maybe, and perhaps it was his own actions that he was pushing people away emotionally. Maybe actually what he had was just friendship, and he was obsessed with finding that something was unrealistic, and as such never attained it. There is a pond in the garden, in the grounds of the school, dedicated to him at some time after his disappearance, was presumably there's a search and things. Yeah. And his students, I like to think maybe a couple of his students grow up with a passion in the sciences and maybe get into some STEM fields, citing Masonson as their inspiration.
I think there's a scholarship.
Masonson scholarship.
Yeah. It sends quite a few younger men and women to do physics, become science teachers in their own right. And there's maybe like a little plaque that's dedicated to it outside of the little koi pond. Mike, how has your absence impacted on the world?
Ultimately, nobody really cares. It's another pop singer that's died of an overdose, is presumed. However, I think that the album that he was fighting about with his producer got released, and I think it went to number 1.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And finally something real that he could sing about.
The heartfelt 12-song track and vinyl. Yeah, it goes to number 1, it stays there. There is, I think maybe about half the funds go towards some sort of charity. Maybe a foundation is set up in your name.
Yeah.
Dedicated to help those people who suffer from addiction in music industry, help those people become creatives in some way. And help them out of a dark place so that they can find somewhere and make beautiful music. Alex?
I don't think anyone really notices. Not for a while, at least. He doesn't turn up at work. They assume he's quit and just not told anyone. He stops paying the rent. Eventually the landlord gets the keys back and just kind of comes in and doesn't ask too many questions when realises that nobody's been there for a long time. If anybody notices, it's because Alex was present when all these other people went missing as well, and you know, we can discuss later what that what's left behind us from the night at Vicky's. But any impact on the passing world is purely coincidental. He's estranged from his family. They not formally estranged. Nothing's really happened there. It's just more. He doesn't call for months on end. He continues to not call for months on end. Mm-hmm. Eventually somebody notices, but by that point he's moved somewhere else. His job don't know where there's a forwarding address, and he just sort of drifts out of memory.
I think you all noticed him missing because eventually, whether it is a sibling or a cousin or something like that, they do find your blog. And whilst there is a lot of vitriol and hatred through the Twitters and the socials and stuff, there's also an account of the hurt you feel and how you've been missed and lost by the system. There's another male presenting person not being listened to, not being given that support. And so again, that sort of, while they go through checks, maybe they see if you've missed any welfare appointments or anything like that, and a court case comes up, and whilst the effect your absence has, you're not deemed in any positive light, it brings forth sort of the cracks in the infrastructure of these places that so desperately need funding. And it's a step in the right direction to save other people who aren't like that. Anastasia?
Her absence is noted quite quickly. She has a group of similarly high-flying, headstrong female friends who realise that she's missing. They suspect Sam. A case is opened. The case goes cold. Some podcast or other picks it up. Becomes a bit of a true crime sensation, you know, and everything's locked. There wasn't anything particularly on any social media about us getting back together. Wasn't, so nobody tried to contact you as the last seen, you know, that wasn't known. So it's absolutely baffling. And there are threads and forums, people try to work it out. But ultimately, there wasn't anything else about her work. No one seems to concentrate on that. She's just this sort of sensational moment. And that's it.
Sam looks for you. And does move on eventually. And whilst you ended things poorly, and doesn't know where you are, there is a sense of, he wakes up one morning and he knows that you did the right thing.
Well, Fontina's Instagram feed stops getting updated, but it's pretty lost in the algorithm, so that simply fades into non-existence. Her husband, puts on a search for her, but assumes that she's left him because he didn't pay her enough attention. And they hold a vigil to initially put on a bit of a show almost. They're all in these circles. They all want to grieve as publicly as possible for their lost dear friend. And although I think they all sort of suspect Fontina's sticky-fingered nature, there's also...
She stole herself.
Yeah, she stole herself.
Second
There's also some grudging respect for her. They know that she's not from rich stock.
Yeah.
And deep down they all thought she was pretty scrappy. And as much as... and they did accept her as one of them in the end, despite her less admirable qualities. She was missed in her own way, and maybe they did like her happy-go-lucky charm. Yeah, perhaps Fontina wasn't as unlovable and fake as she thought she was. Maybe she faked it until she made it after all.
That's the name of the biography that comes out of your account. They sort of dredge up this person, Philippa, who reinvents herself, someone who fit in, taught the talk, what fake heiress style, if you put it that way. Maybe a documentary is made with your favourite actress, whoever that might be, Evelyn. And yes, whilst you were this sort of roguish, selfish person, people don't remember that. They see someone who was desperate, wanting to be like, and thinking that this would get her into the right doors, open the right places, when all she really had to be was herself. And I think maybe the final picture that's posted to Instagram is maybe a school photo, but not like a posed one that you know, the ugly ones or anything like that. It's somebody like a snapshot from a Polaroid. None of the makeup or anything like that. You just look happy being you. I'm going to ask for your dice back, please, so I can have them all. Thank
You can deal with that one.
Use the voice.
I have the dice back. Thank you for playing. Die. That's the end of this one shot.
Oh, that's fucking radical.
What happens to Vicky?
The What Am I Rolling podcast was created, recorded, and edited by me, Fiona Howat. This episode's players were Evelyn, Celena, James, Matthew, Matt, and me, Fiona. This episode's RPG was Die the Role-Playing Game, created by Kieran Gillen and Stephanie Hans, and published by Rowan, Rook and Descartes. You can find out more information about Die and grab your own copy on the Rowan, Rook and Descartes website. That's rowanrookandescartes.com. The theme music was 8-Bit March by Twin Musicon of twinmusicon.org, licensed under a Creative Commons 4.0 license. If you want to find out more about the podcast, check out the website. That's www.wairpodcast.com. Fancy getting in touch? Email the podcast at whatamirollingpodcast@gmail.com. Finally, follow the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at WAIR_podcast for latest news on upcoming episodes. We've also got a Discord now, so check out the link in the show notes. And remember, adventurers need not apply.